Hello, hello, dear viewers, friends, and all of that. Welcome back to Ark Survival Ascended here on Extinction. This is TVT, and today, as you can see, we are going to be taming that Quetzal there, or just called a Quetzal if you're an Ark player, or someone who hates pronouncing really long names. And if you find yourself enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and please the algorithm gods so that this video gets spread around the platform. It really does help me out, and I greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to turn down my own volume there a little bit so I'm not causing an eardrum explosion. I hope. But, so I'm actually recording my audio after the fact here. So what I was trying to do here was the, what's it called? The rare flower approach, and it didn't appear to be working too well. I don't really understand why. That's one of the many mysteries here, but we're just gonna move past that. It doesn't really matter. So that right there is a shiny Quetzal, courtesy of the shiny mod. Although it's, okay, so now we're just defaulting to, to the freeze-dry strategy, as I call it, where we take my snow owl, fly over the top of the Quetzal, and attempt to freeze it so it will fall to the ground, and then from there we can just tame it normally. Now, this strategy... as I was saying, this strategy is it's not foolproof, and some changes have been made to it. So you can't just... do it wherever. You have to have like something 20 blocks or so underneath you. Watch this fail here. In order to do it, I believe Syntac had a much better showing of trying to tame one of these in on his channel. Sorry, my father keeps coming in, and I had to politely tell him to please stop for the moment. But it is what it is. He just went above it. I don't know if he's caught. I don't think so. I don't think we've caught him yet. As you can probably tell, it's been quite a while since I actually recorded this footage because I don't really remember it all that well. Something I wanted to go over as we tame this. This is a very standard knockout tame. Shiny or otherwise, this is a very standard knockout tame, but we'll get into why this is a weird shiny later. I actually don't think it is that weird, but it felt weird to me at the time. But the reason why we have to record audio after the fact is this. There's an update to my OBS, and whenever that happens, I have to... Alright, hopefully that's the last interruption there. The reason why we had to do that is... Again, OBS updated, and when it updates, for some reason I have to re-input my mic as my primary, audio. So I actually ended up recording this, the entire thing, talking to myself. And this applies to the last episode, too, where we fought the Desert Titan. That happened towards the latter half of the episode as well, because I did it over the course of a couple days. Why did I do it that way? Because... it got too late in the day. Okay, so here's where we break out the snake, and we're just going to knock this guy the hell out. And we're going to use the hypnosis to do that. And that's, I believe it is Maro's Gigantophis mod. And as you can see, this is our mutated snake, along with our mutated snow owl. And his name is Jake, and if you get that reference, good for you. You're amazing. You're also amazing if you don't, but props to anyone who does. The reason why we use that is that I don't feel like using resources to actually KO this thing with darts or arrows. Forget that. Which brings me to the reason why I would tame a Quetzal when I have Hatzigopteryx in the first place. And the answer is quite simple. The answer is platform saddle. The platform saddle is a great tool. As much as I despise it being a thing... it is a great tool to help tame the Desert Titan. Now, as to why that is, we're going to cover that a bit more in the next episode. But what's important is, I also just wanted to tame one so that I'd have the comparison with the Hatzigopteryx, since they were very close relatives in life, and, basically within different regions of the world kind of filled the same super pterosaur niche. They're both as dark as pterosaurs, so... But yes, this is a shiny one, as you can see. I don't remember what type it is, because it's like when I'm looking at, by the way, just when I'm looking at the screen here, I'm not seeing like a full screen. But yeah, it does have a like a stat trait to go with that, which is one of the names that it has. I think it's something or other. You know what? Future self, in the next 20 minutes or so, please go ahead and slap that, whatever that is, on there. We'll get to that. I mean, the thing is showing it, but I want to go over what it actually does for me to have it. But I've been looking for a high-level Quetzal since I started here on Extinction. And the highest level I've seen is a 90, and I've seen like 3 Quetzals total. So finding this shiny was a big deal. And I was like, oh, gotta go for it. Gotta tame it. Now, I will say this. Shiny or not, the Quetzal is not a particularly strong creature. It's just not. A mutated one could be, but by base, they're just not powerful. But they're not intended to be powerful. They're intended to be the ultimate beast of burden. And back in the day, when you could alter the movement speed on your flyers in Ark Survival Evolved, now this is way back in the day, this was serious business, right? Like, you wanted a Quetzal, you wanted the platform saddle, you wanted all the accoutrements on it so that you could go do whatever. People use these for everything. And then they changed it with the flyer nerf. And then little by little, the Quetzal saw less and less use as the RG and even to an extent the Pteranodon and certainly the Wyvern took center stage there. But the Quetzal, and it's only gotten worse from there as more powerful flyers have come into the picture. But even to this day, the Quetzal still retains some usefulness because it is truly the only non-modded flyer that I can think of that has a platform saddle. So it's the only one you can build stuff on. And because of that alone, it always will have some high utility. Now, it's, again, not a very strong creature, but it has very high stamina, it has very high weight, and it has very good health. So this is a pack mule like nobody's business. Now, with that being said, I really have had no need to tame one at all prior to this point. And I really have only one purpose in taming one here. And that is, again, to help tame the Desert Titan. Now, I tried it with the Snow Owl in the last episode, and if you watched that, it did not go well for me. And as you can see here, I'm harvesting some blackberries, some narcoberries with my shiny Therizinosaurus. And the reason for that is that I actually ended up needing some narco here. Because these things drain torpor very quickly, and they eat pretty slowly. So bear that in mind. This is one of those creatures where you're probably going to need narcotics unless your settings are just off the walls ridiculous for taming. Have a bit of dinner here. But yeah, while we're going to be sitting here talking about this, something I wanted to address, because I'm sure people will be wondering what my thoughts are on it. And I'll cover this again in the next Astreos episode, which might be this week, it might be next. I don't know, I'm still kind of coming out of my break. But, yeah, let's talk about Lost Colony and Aquatica. And we're already on 2 different spectrums here entirely. The first one is quite good. I'm pleasantly hyped as a vampire fan, a longtime vampire fan. I love it. I love the idea. We're doing vampires in Ark, and we've kind of already done that with the Bloodstalker, but that was more of an Eldritch thing. Okay, and here we go. Now we've tamed it. Right in the, and it's like I cut away and brought us back here. I tamed this in the middle of the meteor shower, so I'm kind of stuck out here, and then I get bored of that, so we head on back. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Lost Colony. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting lore there about the characters besides Helena that, you know, just went off to search for it. So that's Megan, among others. I'm really excited to see where that goes and what that means for us as players as we get to explore that. And I will say, when you see it in the animated short, it looks like freaking sci-fi version of Dracula's Castle, and that looks so cool. I'm like, oh, yes. This is something I never thought that I would need in Ark, but here we are, and I'm not complaining. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right, let's see what you got. I'm gonna let you cook wild card on that one. But now we need to talk about Aquatica. If wild card's cooking, If wild card's cooking, Snail Games is giving me raw beef. I don't know what the hell is going on there. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Aquatica other than that it is a DLC. Okay, hold on. We'll get back to that. Right now, we need to talk about this. So what we've got right here is Hatzegopteryx with a side-by-side comparison to Quetzalcoatlus, its close relative. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is just because I want to, but also sort of to highlight something that Ark gets wrong and right here. So Hatzegopteryx, as you can see, has a more upright position. The wings are more backward facing. It's got its little hands out to the side like that. And it's got its head up. It's got its head up like more bird-like. We now know that the position that you see the Quetzal in is what was widely regarded to be true a long time ago. We now know that's not the case. Although it's somewhat like most of the anatomical features that are required in a giant pterosaur are present here. What's really missing as we put the platform saddle on it, the wings aren't folded back properly. The head is too far out, straight out like that. It most likely would have sat in a very similar position. Both of these animals are massively oversized, but the Hatzegopteryx even more so than the Quetzal. But in real life, these were both huge animals. They both would have stood almost the same height as a giraffe would today. Honestly, awe-inspiring that these things could fly at all. Yeah, this is an absolutely stunning creature, I must say. I wish it was stronger, but it's not. As to what that sound was, I believe that was one of my Wasteland Gigas in there doing something. That is not a sound effect I added in after, I promise. That is not put in post. That was in the game. I remember that because I actually stopped and paused from how loud it was. Paused talking, not paused the recording. But yeah, one thing I will say is I feel like the mohawk of feathers is a bit extraneous because even on this version of the Quetzal, you'll see that it does have the same iconic crest there. So it's like, why would it need that? It already has a display structure there in that exact spot. So I think it's kind of cool, but ultimately unnecessary. Now, let's talk about that lack of damage that you're seeing on the screen. These are not, like I said, these are not strong animals. But they do the job that they were made to do very well. And they can hold their own because they have high health and passable damage. I mean, yeah, they'll be able to be a nice tank for you, but I mean, it's not soaking damage at a turret anytime soon, and it just doesn't cause enough damage to more powerful creatures. As you're about to see, I go up against some alphas here in a bit, and let me tell you, it was something. I had to call in backup there. We'll get to that when we get to it. Oh god, yeah, this. Oh man, oh god. Now I was kind of floating there, just kind of like looking around. I did not know that was there. So that came up, and thankfully it does not have bleed. But yeah, I kind of flew up and went. And yes, what you just heard was legitimately me jumping a bit because I forgot about that gig, the corrupted Giga. I'm not even bothering to engage here yet. I think I do in a bit, but yeah, no, that thing is a little bit too strong for this guy to handle. Yeah, here I'm going in to help out now, and I do take some damage for this, but yeah, just to bring it back to Aquatica, will I be reinstalling Ark Survival Evolved? Absolutely not. Not to play that. Now, I know there's a whole discrepancy about AI, and I need to do some more research on that one, but, okay, there we go. I need to do some more research on what all that's about with that, and make sure I've got all my information straight, but as it stands, as I understand it, I'm not going to be reinstalling Ark Survival Evolved and paying Snail Games, however many dollars they want, for DLC that should have been in their dead game, that isn't in their dead game, that is apparently not being put in their live remake of that dead game. Not happening. Like, I will stretch the limit quite a bit, because as a content creator, I feel it's important to keep relevant content going, but I draw the line when your business practices are that scummy. Not happening at all. So I just wanted to address that right now. No, I will not be reinstalling Ark Survival Evolved. No, I will not be buying Ark Aquatica. I'm sorry if you wanted to see me do that, but it is not happening. I'm making that very clear. What is happening, however, is I will absolutely be shelling out money to play Lost Colony. I will pay out money to, you know, any like, when I think the DLC is worth it, I'll put in the money. Like, I wasn't originally going to buy Astraeos, but I ended up buying it because Wildcard came out and pointed out that they had been, or people came out, I should say, that Wildcard had actually been doing a nice for once, not for once, but like, been doing a nice and helping out the mod creator as well. So this benefits not just Wildcard, but one of the modders. And I was like, I'm happy to supported them. And so far, the content has been, like, maybe the videos have or haven't, I hope they have, but like, my experience playing on this content has been very good. I think Astraeos is an absolute win. And I'm looking forward to see what they cook up next. But it's honestly very disheartening to see what Snail Games has decided to do with Aquatica and the impact that it's having as I'm fighting this alpha here. I mean, I don't have much to say about this. Like, most of what I would say about the Quetzal, I've already said it. I guess I could talk about what we'll be using it, how we'll be using it to tame the Desert Titan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a metal box around myself, and we're just going to sit under in and around the corruption nodes, and we're just going to let it lightning itself, because apparently it'll do that. Yep. There it is. There's no big secret. That's the secret, is it's going to hit itself with lightning. Moving on. But yeah. Man. I do feel kind of conflicted, because I was on my break and all this drama with Ark started. And now coming back, it's like, man, what is going on? What are they doing over there? You know? So, yeah. I'll have more thoughts on it in the next Astraeos episode, though. As for the next episode of this, well, I think you can probably guess what that's going to be about, and that will definitely be this week. So yeah, this video is as much me taming a Quetzal as it is me standing on my soapbox and going on a rant for a little bit. I'm sorry, but it is something that I feel I need to address, and I don't want to make an entirely separate video in which to do that. I don't think my thoughts extend far enough to warrant that. All of this is to say, I'm happy about Lost Colony, not happy about Aquatica, will not be playing Aquatica. Not happening. Unless my information is incorrect, in which case, alright, we'll see. But as it stands, and if you know that I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Like, tell me what's going on there, because, yeah, that's insanity. It's a shame, too, because it looks like it'd be fun. Like, an actual upgrade to the ocean. And I'm just sitting there, when I saw it, I was, like, just sitting here going, I literally have that, but better in my Astraeos playthrough because of the Sunken Treasures mod. But I want to know just what in the world is going through the heads of the execs at Snail Games that they can be so blatantly out of touch. That's crazy work right there, as they say. I'm like, good lord. But yeah, here we go. This is killing an alpha when you don't have very good damage on your creature. So we called in the Manic Armor, and it's still taking a while. This is, by the way, you can't get an Alpha Facilosuchus normally in vanilla. This is from the Arcology mod, so this puts in more alphas into the game, among other things. It has all new variants of creatures that are pretty cool. And if you didn't know, then you haven't been paying attention to my mod list that is in the description of every one of these Extinction videos since episode something or other. 16, I think? Anyway, yeah, I think we're coming up on the point where we're going to start winding down the video here. So, what I think I'm going to do, because I'm kind of tired, is we're just going to let this play out, and I'm going to do my outro now. Potentially. We'll let it sit for a second. Let me get my kill. My god, this guy takes forever to die. There he goes. But yeah, there it is. If you found yourself enjoying this video, go ahead, do me a solid, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, all of those things that please the algorithm gods and spread this video around the platform. It really does help me out, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. I would like to again apologize for spending a lot of the episode ranting instead of talking about what I was doing, but frankly, there's a lot of stuff that I needed to cover, but not enough to warrant its own video. And also, I, again, didn't have a whole lot to say because the original audio was lost here, so I'm just sitting here watching this like, okay. So this is why I would be terrible at reaction videos, you know? Oh, man. One thing I will say about the Quetzal is, another thing I can say about it, actually, is it can pick up things. It can basically pick up anything the Rhino can, except for vaults. So, there's that. It's got that going for it. Not everything the Rhino can, but a lot of things the Rhino... Like, the Quetzal can pick up a lot of stuff. It's good at carrying things. But, apart from that, this thing is left-click simulator, essentially, so... Yep. This one being a shiny does have a special ability if I press either C or Control, but I can't quite figure out what it's supposed to do. What it does do is dismount me, as we'll see in the next episode. Spoilers! But, yeah. I think we're gonna call it here. This has been TBT. I'm signing off, and I'll catch you lovely people. Oh, hold that thought. No. And I'll catch you lovely people on the next episode of Ark Survival Ascended here on Extinction. Thank you for watching. And now we're just going to let this continue.